Hi everyone. So I have actually been wanting to do a new vlog for a little while. I'm going to keep the same name since that's the name you guys all know it as. But um, what I would like to specifically do, I was realizing that I am obsessed with Pinterest. I realized this a while ago. And I pin tons of stuff, but I never, well, I shouldn't say never, I rarely do any of the stuff that I pin. So I was thinking on how I could change that. And I decided to go pin by pin, board by board, but I'll probably pick from a random board each time. So it's not the same thing every time. And um, pick something, try it out, and talk to you guys about it. And tell you any materials you might need to do it and stuff like that. I would really like to gear this towards parents with special needs kids, but there's going to be some things, some DIY and stuff that, really this is for anyone, but I'm going to talk a lot about sensory stuff and issues and things that you can do with your children that have those issues, and as well as stuff to do with neurotypical children, recipes, and so on and so forth. Because, like I said, I have a million boards and a billion pins, probably literally, and I don't know what to do with them all. So I think this would be really cool. So my first one, I have my little notes right here. I kind of just went on and saw which of my boards came first, and it was about sensory issues. And since we're adopting a child with special needs, I'm really passionate about this, but I have been before that. Like, I've really been into doing the Montessori method and a bunch of sensory stuff. I pinned a bunch of ideas for sensory bins, and I came up with some ideas for stuff to put in our water table besides water, and I'll talk about that another time. But so I just went on, and like my most pinned recent boards, it shows you which ones you've pinned onto the most frequently, and my top one was sensory. So the I just went and clicked on the first pin I found, because I was like, otherwise I'm gonna be take an entire day to just pick out a pin that I want to use. So I found the sensory diet. And I know it sounds really weird, and you're probably thinking it has to do with food. Well, it doesn't. It actually is how to feed the different sensory needs of the children. And hopefully my cat doesn't knock my camera down. Shoo. Um, so kids have different sensory needs, whether they have autism or sensory processing issues. I don't like to say disorder just because I feel like it lessens them, but issues. I myself have some sensory processing issues. I get very overwhelmed at grocery stores and stuff like that. But this is actually, they did say that these could be used for adults too. So, some things. The first idea is jumping, and we actually have a trampoline. Here, let me see if I can turn the camera so you guys right back there. And that's for when the little guy comes, and sorry, I'm trying to get my camera back up. And we actually, when he came to visit, he absolutely loved going on the trampoline. So just jumping on that, jumping on the bed, obviously with you there to make sure that there's safety. So the next thing is climbing. You can do rock walls if they're a little bit older age, or even adults. A climbing gym of some sort. There's rock climbing that you could get into. Obviously, you have to be with somebody who knows what they're doing, so that safety is involved and stuff like that. The thing that they said for climbing for younger children is tunnels, like a fabric tunnel, that they go through, and that practices their climbing and reaching skills. There's also part of the, I forget what it is called now. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but where you like basically to feel the inners of your inner ear, that's the word, spinning. And you could do, there's these hammocks that are kind of shaped like pods, and the kid climbs inside, and they can go in there and you just swing them, and that gets vestibular. That's the word. Vestibular input. That satisfies that. So you can actually get, if you're not renting like we are, you could just bevel it to your ceiling. But if you are and you don't want to bevel it to your ceiling, they actually have holders for them, like metal holders that you can hang it off of. We're planning on getting one of those at some point. The next thing is riding. I added cozy coops because I thought for a certain size of kids, and younger kids especially, that that a cozy coop would be a good idea. If you don't know what that is, first of all, where have you been? It's a little car that you move it with your feet. So I thought that would be really good for just like impacting the joints and moving and stuff. So the other thing is a scooter board. So a scooter board is one of those little square things with wheels on it that you sit on, and the kid sits on, and they kind of scoot around. Pushing, pulling, laundry basket, thick rope, rake, vacuum. Those are the things that they suggested on there. A laundry basket, just to like, you can even fill it with clothes and have them push and pull, and that just gives resistance. Thick rope, you tie it to a doorknob, and they can kind of shut the door, obviously, and then they can kind of hang off of it. A rake gets that good, again, muscle impacting these joints and muscles right here, and gets a good, they're practicing pushing and pulling. And a vacuum, same thing. They actually have child size vacuums, so if you want to look into that, you can. The next thing is chewing. You can have chewery, which is wearable, chewable jewelry. They have Lego shapes. They have, actually at Target, we saw this really cool thing. It was actually for moms to wear. It was like fancy schmancy necklace bracelets that your baby could chew on while you're holding them. I just thought it was the coolest thing. Or your kid, if they're like having an issue, could just be like, here, here's some sensory, here's a sensory object, and they can chew on your jewelry and not break it. So, the next thing is vibration. They suggested like a handheld massager. We actually have one of those for back massages, and you hold on to it, and you like, it has little legs almost, and you can massage backs or shoulders with it. And teethers, sometimes they have little baby teethers that vibrate, and that just feels really good going in their mouth. The next thing is, this is active games, so like tag, hide and go seek. You maybe can get them to do the bear walk now, do the crab walk, and all those little different things, hopping on one foot, stuff like that. Then one of the other ones is, I put obstacle course also, is an idea for active game. Swimming. So either if you have a pool or you know someone who does, swimming in water are really comforting and soothing to kids who have sensory issues and autism also. So either that or find a local YMCA. They should probably also learn how to swim, so kill two birds with one stone. So swimming is an idea. It just helps them feel weightless, and it's really, I have two autistic siblings who absolutely love the water. Um, the next is tactile. So you can do these in a sensory bin or in your water table if you have one. Shaving cream, wet sand, finger paint, that would just be like on your table or something. Make sure that you have newspapers down and your child is, at a certain age is wearing a smock. And it's really good actually for them to get their hands dirty because that kind of pushes them out of their comfort zone a little bit and helps them to explore more stuff. Water, obviously, in a water table, or you could just do a little container on the table with like some measuring cups and measuring spoons. And then bubbles. I had one of those hand mixers with the whisks, and I used to put just like paint or food coloring into soap bubbles and water, and then use that to mix it up, and it would make big foamy colored bubbles, and our foster kids love that. So the next thing is blowing. So blowing bubbles, or you could have them practice blowing out a candle or different things like that, or just like, here, blow this, put, I don't know, a styrofoam cup on the table and have them blow it over, or blow up a balloon for older kids. A whistle. They also suggested a whistle or a kazoo, and also pinwheels, because then they can practice making the pinwheel move. The next thing is rolling. So, a large exercise ball. I saw those under a couple of the suggestions for the rolling, or for the riding, and for a couple more. It helps. Sometimes you can actually put it like if they're laying down, you can put it on top of them, and it helps with the pressure. So one of those big, large exercise balls, and if it has texture to it, that's even better. Let's see. The next part is scratching or brushing, and obviously I mean scratching gently, just kind of like doing their back lightly, scratching like you would scratch a bug bite or something. You obviously don't want to hurt the child, so be careful, especially if you have long nails like me. Again, I have a brother he'll come up to you, turn around, lift up his shirt, and face his back to you, and only wants you to just like scratch his back. And then there's another thing, soft bristle brushes. You can actually use those to gently comb the arms, the legs, and it actually stimulates the lymphatic system, so it's also really good for just health in general. And here's another thing I didn't put in here and wasn't actually in here, but joint compression at nighttime. My husband has actually done it to my joints a couple of times. It's basically where you gently pull out and then push back in. And what you're doing is you're compressing the joints. And that usually helps me get all, like, not be so twitchy at nighttime. It might help you if you have restless leg to get somebody to do it to, like, your knees and just gently tug and then push them back together. You're not dislocating anything, you're just kind of like imagine your knee is a spring and you're stretching the spring and then letting it relax. So that's really good also. The next thing is spinning. So they said sit and spins were really good, and obviously you can just have them stand and spin in a circle till they get dizzy. Or you could have them on a tire swing, or oh yeah, I had written down that parks are like amazing because you can do a bunch of these. You can go in tunnels, you can swing, you can go down slides, have them go up the slides, and then they get that joint compression in their knees. There's bridges that they cross and they have to balance. I mean, parks are just great places, so definitely consider that. The next part is sensory bins, tables. I talked a little bit about this before. Here's some additional ideas. Dry beans, rice, sand, cloud dough, pasta. So just like dry pasta. And you can go to the dollar store, you can get all of this. You could get like 3 pounds of beans for $3. So, really cheap. And then there's recipes also on Pinterest to make your own cloud dough. You can make it with flour and baby oil, which again, both of those you can get from the dollar store. It doesn't have to be expensive. And you don't want to try all of this stuff in one day. You want to kind of see what you like. If your child is jumping around a lot and just kind of bouncing off the walls, then they might need some jumping. So trampoline, or just have them jump on the bed, or hold their hands while they jump up and down. And just try maybe a couple of these every day, different ones. The next part is fidgets. There's actually, we got the child that we're getting that we're adopting a baby fidget cube. It's called My First Fidget Cube, and it's for babies essentially, but it's big enough because he still puts things in his mouth. It's big enough that you don't have to worry about little parts coming off, and he absolutely loved it. It's all the things that the little fidget cube has, just bigger. So that's really cool. And then there's things you can put on tops of pencils. Arc.com, ARC, I believe it is. I'll drop a link down in the description. Has a bunch of this stuff. They have chew sticks. They have things to put on pencils. They have fidgets. They have everything, and they're awesome. So, definitely check them out. Squeezing is another thing. You could fill a balloon with, like slime or something and tie it off and just have them have that. Or an actual stress ball like they use for, when you're getting a shot or something. Koosh balls are also good. Do they still have those? I don't know. It was in there, but I was like, really? Probably they have them somewhere. Okay, the next part, squeezing, and they say that hugs, like, I mean, you don't want to, obviously, again, don't hurt the child, but a nice tight hug is always good. Spartan, do not knock over my phone. Okay, thought I was about to have a camera malfunction. So, and then blankets, like if you wrap a blanket around them, especially like in a little burrito, or even tuck them into bed, in their, even if it's not bedtime, like under the covers, just tuck it around them, kind of cocoon them. That can be very comforting. Also, a compression vest. I actually have one of those. I've never worn it out to like a store or something, but it didn't really seem to help me. I don't think that like tightness actually comforts me that much. I think it freaks me out because I have fear of like tight spaces. So, but it could work on some kids. We had a foster child who loved tight hugs. He'd come and ask Michael, "Daddy, I need a bear hug." That was like his cue for he just needed a big, nice, firm hug. So, something I have in here that was a little bit extra, a diffuser and oils. If you have a diffuser, or you can get one from Amazon for pretty cheap. And some good oils to use are lavender. That's very calming. Orange oil is stress reducing. And there's others. I believe cedarwood is another one that reduces anxiety. And it might help you as the parent of the child also. So, the next part is wiggling. There's wiggle seats. They recommend it for even sitting at the dinner table, so they can sit on it and they can kind of wiggle around while they eat. And it makes it so they don't have to sit still, which is really hard for some kids. That particular one, actually a lot of these would probably work for kids with ADD also. The active games would probably work. Swimming, jumping, climbing, riding on a scooter, and a lot of this stuff would help with that because it's just a need that needs to be met. So that's just my cat meowing in the background because he's playing with my dog. Music. The child we're adopting loves music. He's always humming and stuff like that. So, CDs, phone, or iPod you can use, obviously. Whatever you want. If you have a record player, that's awesome. Use that. Calm and slow. So there's certain things you do to get them amped up and to meet that need that they have, but you don't want to overdo it. So if you feel like they're overstimulated and you just want to calm them down, there's calm down jars that you can make. I'm actually going to make one of those soon that is basically glitter and clear glue, and you can make different kinds, and you swish it around and they kind of watch the glitter settle to the bottom, and it's very calming. So I'll talk about that maybe in my next video. They suggest a fish tank, or there's even those like lights, lamps, whatever they are, that look like a fish tank, and you can just watch the little fish go around. A lava lamp is also they suggested, which Walmart has, so, and probably Target too. So those are always fun. They're calming even for me. So the next one, or I'm sorry, there's also hard candy or lozenges. They suggested sometimes having something to suck on really helps get the sensory needs met and kind of calms them down. Our one foster child loved gum. I talked about that before. Like, if he was just bonkers and we couldn't figure out, like, he had climbed up slides and done all the things, we would give him a piece of gum and he would be better. So, slow rocking. So, there's times when they'll want it a little bit faster and, they can get their energy out other ways, but this is all the calming down strategies. Slow rocking, a rocking chair, a hammock. Again, they have stands for them if you don't, these are a regular type of hammock. If you don't want to put holes in your ceiling or whatever, or you don't have trees to hang your hammock up, they actually have stands. A glider, which upstairs in the room we actually have, if you saw my tour video, we actually have I think this was in the video, I'm not sure, a gliding rocking chair, and it has a gliding ottoman, which I think those things are amazing. They are, okay, there's my cat. They're just really cool. And can you get off, please, Spartan? Okay, sorry. It's making me nervous. I was gonna knock my phone over because I just have it like propped up on the windowsill. There we go. Okay, so we have one of those gliding rocking chairs. Another thing to do for calming them down is a heavy or weighted blanket. You can just do a heavy one or an actually weighted blanket. And if you're a sewer, they have tutorials on Pinterest on how to make them. Or you could just buy like a more heavy, denser blanket from Walmart or Target. Sorry, that was my cat jumping up again. Target or wherever you shop. Also, they said, again, like resting the exercise ball gently on top of them, just adding that little bit of weight might help. So those are some calming down techniques. Now, if you want to figure out if it's, my animals are crazy. Sorry. If you want to figure out if it's effective and it's basically the method is doing its job, the sensory diet, so to speak, ask these questions. Is your child calmer? Are they more attentive? Are they more focused? Are they sleeping well? Are they eating well? Are they interacting more? Are they following directions better? And did it help them learn quicker? And all those questions are probably not going to be answered in one day. You will have to do a little bit of experimentation, especially to see if your kid likes vestibular input more, or tactile, or I forget what the kind is, that like smelling essential oils and stuff, or swinging. My animals are nuts. And you just kind of have to figure it out. Or if they just do really well having their joints impacted. So it might take some time, but you should see at least one of those things every time you do it. If not, try something different. And this should pretty much cover a lot of your child's sensory issues. Alright, so I hope this was helpful to you guys, and I look forward to doing my next video. And if you have any suggestions, go check me out on Pinterest. It's just Bethany, if you search under my Facebook name, Bethany Henrich, or Bethany Grace Henrich, it'll show up. So go check it out, and I will actually put a link to my Pinterest account down in the description. Go check it out and see if there's any pins on there that you would like me to do. Okay, I know this was a long one. Thanks for hanging in there. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.